Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Okay, we are now in chapter 5, development strategy. Okay, in this chapter, we are going to learn about the development strategies, which describes the remaining activities in system analysis phase, okay, which cover web-based software trends, software outsourcing options, and in-house software development options. In this chapter also describes the transition from system analysis phase to system design phase, which covers system design guidelines, prototyping, and using codes during system design. Before we start a lesson on chapter 5, I want to do some reflection on software development lifecycle, SDLC. As you learned in chapter 1, SDLC is one of analysis method for carrying out system development. It is used as a guideline to plan and manage the system development process, which consists of 5 phases: system planning, system analysis, system design, system implementation, and system operation and support. Okay, we start with the first phase, okay, system planning. As you have learned in chapter 2, which is analyzing the business case, the purpose of this phase is to identify the nature and scope of the business opportunity or problem. And in this phase, you have also learned about how IT projects get started and how system analyst evaluates a proposed project and determines its feasibility. Okay, which is if feasible, it means the IT project can be carried out, and if not feasible, it means the IT project cannot be carried out. So in this phase, you have been given a task to do system development proposal, which is SDP, in your group project. So I believe that you already fully understand and gone through all the processes or activity in phase 1. Okay, next is a phase 2, system analysis. The purpose of this phase is basically to build a logical model of new system. In this phase, you have learned in chapter 3 and 4, which covers requirement modeling, enterprise modeling. In chapter 4 also, you have been given tutorials for practicing the modeling techniques, right? So in chapter 5, which is the last section in second phase of SDLC, you are going to learn about the development strategy. Okay, basically in second phase, in this second phase, you have been given a task to do system requirement specification for your group project, right? Which cover the following logical design, which cover entity relationship diagram, data flow diagram, data dictionary, and process description tools. So for your group project, please follow the template given, and the due is on 6 December, okay, 2020. So in this video, basically I will cover the first half of chapter 5, which is the remaining activities in the system analysis phase. Alright. This is introduction of chapter 5. As I mentioned earlier, this chapter describes the remaining activities in system analysis phase. And the chapter also describes the transition to system design prototyping design guidelines, and using code to represent values and simplify data entry. What is development strategies? Okay. Development strategies basically is selecting the best development path in an important decision that requires companies to consider three key issues, which are web-based software trends, software outsourcing option, and in-house software development alternatives. So please remember these three key issues. Okay. We start with the first issue or objective in this chapter, which is web-based software trends. The internet has triggered enormous or huge changes in business methods and operations, and software acquisition is no exception. This section examines the trend that views software as a service, the changing marketplace for software, and how web-based development compares to traditional methods. Okay, traditional methods here, example is client server. Okay, in the traditional model, usually software vendors develop and sell application packages to customer. Now we have three things to focus on the software trend compared to traditional method, which is software as a services, the changing marketplace for software, and web-based development. We start with the first software trend, which is software as a service. The Software and Information Industry Association, SIIA, is an industry group that focuses on the digital economy, believes that the concept of software as a service is redefining the way that companies develop and deploy their information system. So, in other words, software as a service is a model of software deployment where an application is hosted as a service provided to customers over the internet. For example, visual paradigm that you are using for drawing a data flow diagram. Okay, it is a kind of software as a service. So if you subscribe the service, you can use it as a software as a service. Next software trend is the changing software marketplace. So, in the traditional model, as I mentioned earlier, software vendors develop and sell application packages to customers. So, in addition to traditional vendors, the marketplace now includes many forms of outsourcing, including application service providers and firms that offer internet business services. Basically, in a highly competitive marketplace, major vendors constantly strive to deliver new and better solutions. Okay, for example, Microsoft, they claims that its software as a services platforms offers the best solution and business value. Okay, now this is the third software trend to focus, which is on the web-based development and how the internet give impact on system development. So the impact actually is on the developers. Yeah. As a system analyst, you must consider whether development will take place in a web-centric framework or in a traditional environment. So in an internet-based systems, system analysts basically need new application development tools and solutions to handle the new system. So two major examples of web-based development environment are IBM's WebSphere and Microsoft.net. So building the application in a web-based environment actually can offer greater benefits and sometimes also a greater risk, okay, if you compare to the traditional environment. So the following section lists some characteristics of traditional versus web-based development, right? In traditional development, system design is influenced by compatibility issues, including existing hardware and software platforms. and also a legacy system requirements. Okay, so systems are designed to run on a local and wide area company networks, and web-based features are treated as enhancements rather than core elements of the design. So in web-based development, systems are developed and delivered in an internet-based framework such as .NET or WebSphere. And internet-based development treats the web as the platform rather than just a communication channel. Web-based software usually requires additional layers called middleware. So middleware is basically a layer or platform used to communicate with the existing software and legacy systems. Okay. In summary, we have done review three things to focus on the web-based software trend, which are software as a service, the changing marketplace for software, and how web-based development compares to the traditional methods, right? So next, we move to the second issue that requires companies to consider in development strategy, which is software outsourcing option. Outsourcing is the transfer of information system development, operation, or maintenance to an outside firm that provides these services for a fee on a temporary or long-term basis. Meaning that you are not doing the system development by your own company, but you pay others software company to develop the system for you. Okay, so outsourcing can refer to a relatively minor programming task or handling of a company's entire IT function. This is either you outsource a part of function or the entire IT function. Okay. The growth of outsourcing. Traditionally, firms outsource IT tasks as a way of controlling costs and dealing with rapid technological change. But today, outsourcing is a vital business issue that shapes the company's overall IT strategy. So the most important factor is the potential saving in operation costs. A firm that offers outsourcing solutions is called a service provider. Okay, example of application service providers such as Unify, okay, Nexus Holding, which is provide internet access services. Okay, so internet business services, for example, service such as web hosting provided a server space for you to publish your content or web page, and you have to pay them monthly, or it might be a free services, or you have to subscribe. So it also called a managed hosting. Okay, outsourcing fees. We have three type of model outsourcing fees, which is a fixed fee model, use a set fee based on a specified level of service and user support. A subscription model has a variable fee based on the number of users or workstation that have access. And the last one is the dual usage model or transaction model charges a variable fee based on the volume of transaction or operation. Okay, there are few issues and concerns of the outsourcing. The first one is mission critical IT systems should be outsourced only if the result is a cost attractive, reliable, and business solution fits the company's long-term business strategy. Example of mission critical IT system is a banking system. Okay, anything that relate to money and life is considered mission critical IT system. So outsourcing can also affect day-to-day company operations and can raise some concerns. A company must plan outsourcing carefully to avoid lost revenue, added expenses, and potential litigation. So the solution can be only as good as the outsourcing firm that provide the service. Okay. So outsourcing can be especially attractive to a company whose volume fluctuates widely. For example, PSKL, Besar Saham Kuala Lumpur, the volume of transaction is huge and fluctuates. So usually they outsource the IT functions as their development strategy. So a major disadvantage of outsourcing is that it raises employee concerns about job security. Because if everything is outsourced, then it will threaten the IT staff job. Okay. Okay, we have covered two issues or objective in this chapter, which is web-based software trends, and the second one is software outsourcing options. So now is the third issue that requires companies to consider in development strategies, which is in-house software development options, or we also call it insourcing options. A company basically can choose to develop its own system or purchase, possibly customize and implement a software package. And the most important consideration is only a total cost of ownerships. Okay. Company also develop user applications designed around commercial software packages. Okay, for the in-house software development, we basically have to make a decision, okay, whether we want to develop or to purchase. The choice between developing or purchasing software often is called a make or buy or build or buy decision. The company's IT departments will make, build and develop in-house software, while software package is obtained from a vendor or application service provider. Companies that develop software for sale are called software vendors. Okay. Value-added reseller is a firm that enhances a commercial package by adding customer feature and configuring it for a particular industry. For example, in Malaysia, Prestariang is a Microsoft value-added reseller for government. Okay, so vertical application is a software package developed to handle information requirements for a specific type of business. For example, airline system. Okay? So the horizontal application is a software package that can be used by many different types of organization. Okay, this is, for example, is accounting system. Okay. Typically, decision for making or developing a software in-house is to satisfy unique business requirement, to minimize changes in business procedures and policy, to meet constraints of existing system, meet constraint of existing technology, and develop internal resources and capabilities. So the code for this video is 3563. And the decision of purchasing a software package is based on a lower cost, require less time to implement, proven reliability and performance benchmarks, require less technical development staff, future upgrades provided by the vendor, and input from other companies. And the decision for customizing a software package, the first one is you can purchase a basic package that vendors will customize to suit your needs. The second one, you can negotiate directly with the software vendor to make enhancements to meet your needs by paying for the changes. And the last one is you can purchase the package and make your own modification if this is permissible under the terms of the software license. Okay. Okay, in customizing software packages, Companies basically can create user applications based on standard software that has been specially configured to enhance user productivity. It also must have a help desk or information center. And some user applications have a screen generator and report generator that allow users to design their own data entry forms and reports. And the last one is user application should have read-only properties so that users can view but not change the data. Okay, as a system analyst, your role in the software development process basically depends on the specific development strategy. Okay, for example, in-house development requires much more involvement than outsourcing or choosing a commercial package. All right. So I think this is the end of system analysis phase. Next video, we will cover the second half of chapter 5 and start transit to system design phase, which includes system design guidelines, prototyping, and using codes during system design. I think that's all. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.